Hello and welcome to another free code session. My name is Jason Bach and I'm doing a whole bunch of different things today. I had some issues with OBS was no longer going to record, error encoding. And I wasn't going to try to bother going through all these different settings and whatnot. And so I thought, you know, Camtasia, which I use, plugged to Camtasia, for all my video editing, also has a recorder. So I'm just going to try that this time. I may find this to just completely die on me and not work well, but we're going to give it a whirl. This is also just kind of a spontaneous thing for me to do right now because I'm actually looking over here on my other screen because I have the little monitor thing going on from Camtasia. So I'm checking that out. So this is also spur of the moment because I just had this idea for BenchmarkMockNet, and I'm going to bring up the browser window right now. This is the branch or the issue name. I'm going to make a branch for this in a moment of what I just added for JustMock. This is another mocking framework that I've heard of before. I've never used it, so this will also be a nice experience just to see how it works. There's the Lite version, that's the free one, and that's what you would do most of the things that you can do with rocks, MLQ, and substitute and so on. There's a version of JustMock that's a paid for version, and I believe that I think I was looking at this. I might not have it up anymore, but there is somewhere in their documentation, they show you the differences between what's supported. Mostly it allows you to do static methods, non-virtual methods, and so on. So I thought, let's add this and see how it works. So first things first, I don't want to forget. So I'm going to make a branch here. We're going to say get new branch, and this is in my fork. So we're going to call this 20 add just mock. Okay. We're going to say create. Yep. That looks all good. Okay. So I'll do all the work and then I'll do the PR offline once I get there. But yeah, we're going to add this in. One other thing, or two other things I just want to talk about real quick. I heard this was recorded. What is the date today? It was recorded on October 14th. So I just heard yesterday that it is official that Visual Studio 2022 is going to be released in 2021, which I had been speculating for the last, I don't know, 2-3 months that I started to wonder if that was going to happen. Because as I started doing my What's New in C# 10 talk at more places, I noticed that the only way to really get it to work is in 2022, and 2019 preview was just never working. And so I started wondering, well, .NET 6 is coming out in November. Are they going to get this to catch up or not? I don't know. And so I think they just said, well, we're going to release 2022 in 2021, which, I know people have had some issues with 2022. I feel now I'm on preview 5, I believe. I think that's the one. And it works pretty well. I mean, the first preview or two were a little sketchy. This one seems fine, but I know people have said they've had some other issues with it. I would imagine they're probably in overdrive mode right now, trying to, get it as good as they can. So anyway, yes, if you want to use C# 10, .NET 6, I would imagine too, you're going to have to move to 2022, which is a little odd because the Visual Studio releases were not supposed to correspond with .NET 6 or the releases of .NET. And it just seems like it could just be kind of well, that's the way it works the best. So let's just make that happen. The thing is, .NET schedule didn't change for Visual Studio per se. At least that's the general observation I've made. So that's one thing. The other thing I've noticed is in this project for BenchmarkMockNet is that Steve has added a BenchmarkMockNet tests. And I believe, I haven't taken a look at this in detail, but what I believe this is doing is actually running the benchmark tests, not as benchmarks, but to see, are they actually doing the right thing? Okay. And I think that's really cool. Like if you have a type of construction, the result should be something of I thing. If you're doing the return, it should be a value of 1. And this is something, if I'm reading this correctly, is something that I think is an awesome idea, because I've always run into this, which is how do I make sure that my benchmark tests are actually doing what I think they should be doing? Not from a getting all the data perspective and getting all my memory allocation information and how fast the things ran, but is it just doing the right thing? And so I would change my program file, call these methods, output it to the console window, and I've always been like, that's just kind of yucky. And I really like this approach because it's crystallized an idea that I've had that I've never been able to just, why not write unit tests against this stuff? I mean, I think I've had that thought, but I've never sat down and said, how would you actually do this? And so, this is kind of an interesting approach to do that. So when I add my stuff for JustMock, it should just kick in, because if I add test for JustMock for return, I think what this is doing is looking for all the methods in there and then making sure that all these methods return 1. So the one for JustMock should also return 1. So good on that. All right, let's actually go into BenchmarkMockNet and do manage NuGet packages. And we're going to say browse first, and we're going to say JustMock. Okay. Now, again, I don't know the encoding, how this is going to work with recording and speed and everything like that. So, and this is taking forever to find. Don't include pre-releases. Let's just find JustMock. Okay, there you go. Okay, much better. So we're going to say install that one. Okay. And hopefully that installs all the things. And yes, I accept. Okay. So we installed that. Good. Okay. So let's go into, let's close that out and then come here. And let's go into our, which one should we do first? We're going to have to do, excuse me, we're going to have to do all 6 of these. And again, I don't know how JustMock works. So this one's going to be a little bit interesting for me to get my head around. Yeah, he is alphabetizing them. I don't know if that was on purpose or accident. So let's just follow that. Let's do this. And we're going to say JustMock. Okay. And I'm going to go to documentation because I was looking this up before, and it seems like what they do is mock create. Okay. So we're going to say mock create, and hopefully we don't run into, see, that's the thing. I think this is going to MOQ it. Yeah. So now we have a problem here, which is we want to say just mock.mock, right? That's what we want, correct? Big problem first. Just mock the mock create method. Okay. One parameter is a method which is not valid in, well, let's make sure I did add JustMock, right? Yep, it's added. Okay. No, we don't want to do that. We just want to close this. Oh my God, just close that. Thank you. Mock does not contain a definition for create. Yeah, because it's mock of, and that's MOQ. But why isn't it, if I said var x is equal to just mock dot, okay, that's not expected either. What? Whoa, this is really weird. What? Okay. This is not expected at all. I don't understand where I am actually getting. You know what we're going to do? We're going to do this. 2022. Nope. No. 2022. And we're going to make a great console app called Console App 27 or something like that. And we're going to just try to I'm going to say create a new project. What is BenchmarkMockNet in it? Is that in 5 or 6? It's in 5. Okay. So file close that. It feels weird. It feels like it's trying to close the whole thing, and that's not what I want. Console app 8 sounds good. We're going to just go 5 for now. Okay. And so we'll do this, and then we'll see what it is to actually, this is it. Whoa, that's interesting. JustMock. Oh, am I being a moron? I am being a moron. I am being a huge moron. Let's put in down here, we'll do public abstract void JustMock. And we'll do the same thing up here. Yay, public abstract T JustMock. Now, of course, this is going to break the world, but we need to do this. Okay, so now that should be there. Okay, now if I say that, see, that's still going to be MOQ. But if I say JustMock, see, it's thinking it's a method. Can I say using just, well, what the heck? Just, oh my God, what just happened? That was bizarre. It unshowed everything or hid everything. That's not what I was expecting at all. I think this is getting, no, because MOQ, fake it easy, I don't know. There might be a naming thing that's going on here that it doesn't like. We'll see in a moment. So we'll go here and we'll say manage get packages. We'll go browse and we'll look for JustMock. And we should hopefully very quickly get JustMock. Say install. Should do all the things. Great. Okay. Now let's come back here. Let's put in a public interface. I do something. We don't care what it does. Oops, interface. Void foo. Okay. Now let's come back up here and let's say var. Let's go back to the documentation and see what we do. Mock creative eyewear. So we're going to say this is the do something. And we're going to say mock create I do something. Okay. Great. But using Telerik JustMock. Okay. So that gets us that. And then we want to say mock.range. And we want to say something like this. On the do something dot foo, right? Because that's what we want to check that we've actually called. And that should be enough, right? Okay. Now we pass that in. I'm just reading about the different recursive, loose, strict behavior. We'll worry about that in a moment. So now if I say do something dot foo, that should work, but how do I verify it? Assert and verification. Let's take a look at that one. So I range, blah, blah, blah. Assert that all the arranged methods of the two classes conform to the expectations set on them. So it's where in an order, I'm guessing order has a, what is it setting up on the order? A complete, which is a complete method. That's interesting because that's not virtual. This seems like it's using the full JustMock, but we don't care about that. We're just saying we just want to assert. So what we could say here is mock.assert on do something. Nope, not that. Do something. Okay. Let's run this. Let's see what happens. It should do nothing. Yeah, that's exactly what it should do. Okay. And in this case, what we do is if we take that off, well, this is going to fail badly. Or not. Yeah. That was kind of unexpected. It should have, I would have expected my range in order occurs once. Does this have to do with like strict? Like if I said here, structure behavior, what's that, strict? Yeah, let's do strict. Let's just see if what is happening. Let's first put this back in. And now this should work. Okay, now let's take out the arrangement. Yep, and now we're getting an exception. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. And I notice it's using Castle Dynamic Proxy there. Okay, so we know it works. Let's come back over to here and let's do using Telerik. Let's call it, I don't want to call it JustMock. Let's call it tmock is equal to Telerik JustMock mock. There. So now we have an alias to that. So now we should be able to come here and go tmock. And there it goes. Okay, cool. So now what the heck do we need to thing? Because that's what it does. Now what do I do in my thing? I say rocks. Oh, this is just setting up one parameter. Yeah, it's actually, yeah, because I call it on the instance. Okay. And in the case of MOQ, you can do a loose. In rocks, you have to actually set up an expectation because otherwise it will throw an exception. So I think what I could do here too is say thing.oneParameter and then turn in a 0. There. Now we've got that working. Okay. I don't really, can we just change this to like Telerik mock? There. And that's to differentiate it between the other mock here. Okay. All right. So that is the first one. So it took some time. Let's hopefully do a simpler one, which we're going to do right here. And public override int JustMock. Okay. And so what we want to do here is say, it should be telling me because I'm not returning anything. Yeah. So we're going to say var thing is equal to, nope, we need to pull this in and do that. So we can say Telerik mock dot create on an I thing. Okay. And yeah, the stub, we need to have a setup here to say Telerik mock dot arrange on the thing dot one, right? That it returns a 1. I believe that's what we wanted to do. Yes. Okay. Now we can say return thing dot 1. And that should return 1. Okay. Next, let's do an empty return. Again, we're going to need this. Let's put it up here. We're going to just copy this now, but we'll change it so that it's actually what we want it to be. Okay. So we just, an empty return. So in this case, we can probably get away with doing 0. Okay. Again, if I look at rocks, it's probably, I need to say, oh, in that case, I'm not saying expectation. I'm just using my rock make thing because it's just an empty return, just a 0. This isn't it. Okay. I think that should all work. Next, let's just do a window close all. Let's come over here to empty method. Actually, let's go to empty return because again, we need to pull that in. And we want to just mock it. So we're going to come here, and we just say thing do nothing, right? And it should be void. Yep. Okay, cool. That's we'll keep these open. We're getting close. Let's do a construction. Again, let's pull this in. And let's say JustMock. We'll say TellerMock create of a thing. And that should be giving us exactly what we want. Yes. Okay. All right. So that's the construction. Callback. I'm going to leave that for last. I don't know why, but I got a bad feeling about callback. I'm not sure, but I'm just thinking that one's going to be a little bit more work. So we'll do that. We'll come into here. We'll just do this and we'll clean it up so that we say here, just mock. We're going to say not a fake. We're going to say TellerMock create. And this is, okay, this is verifying. So in this case, what we need to do is set up an expectation and then verify that it happened. Now, if I just go back to the documentation, though, is that quite the same thing? Verify the order of invocation. I don't think we really care about. We just want to verify, right? We just want to say, yeah. See, with the example that I just showed, if you don't have a strict in my console app, that it verifies that you called it or not. So I'm not really like this is creating mock instances. Where's the? I had it here before, somewhere in their documentation that talks about mock system, mock instances. No, basics of mocking, I got that. I had it up in a document before and I've lost it, but I don't know where it is. Does it make sense to try to be as fair as I can with everything else that I'm calling it the right way? Because again, when I did it here and I had an arrangement here, and if I didn't have that arrangement, if I took that off and I said, verify that this actually, oh, I'm an idiot. Take the call off. No, it still fails. Except if I put that, because that's an expectation I'm setting, and still, see, I don't like that. It should be saying that I am trying to call this, and if I don't call it, then it should assert that it actually didn't happen. That returns an order occurs. Yeah, I'm doing mock arrange, I'm doing mock assert, and it's not. So coming back here, do I want to say, I think the right thing to do is to say arrange. What am I calling it in the other ones? Just call it thing. So thing dot do something, okay? And then we say thing dot do something, and then we say TellerRick. I keep saying it wrong. Is it verify or assert? Yeah, it is. I just wanted to see if there was actually another one. Assert on. Now the last one that I have not changed yet is callback. So what we want to do is, again, put in the right thing. Okay. And we want to put in a JustMock Okay, because it doesn't return a value. So what I'm doing in mine is I'm saying that you want to call back to it. Okay, so if I do var thing is a telleric mock create of a, nope, not G, oh, wow, that was bad. I thing, okay. Now we want to do is say a telleric mock dot arrange, passing in this, or we say thing dot do something. Okay, is there like a callback? Use it to call the real implementation. No. What we want is do instead. Defines the body of the expected method to be executed instead of the original method body. So in this, what we want to do is an action where we say called is equal to true. I believe that is correct. So now here we say thing, do something, which should call that and should return true. Except I'm an idiot and I did this all in the wrong method. Oh my God, let's back all this up. We do not want to delete the fake it easy stuff. We want to, I'll be editing this later and going, Jason, how did you miss this? There we go. This is where we, God almighty. Oh man. I don't know what I just did and I don't know how I did it, but I did it and I'm an idiot for what I just did. Var thing, at least I'm learning JustMock. So, you know, there's that. Telleric mock create I thing. So we call TM arrange on thing, do something, do instead, called is equal to true. Okay, that's all good. We say thing dot do something, and then we'll return called. Okay, now I think I've got everything there. Let's see if I run all tests, which should run that benchmark test project, if everything passes now. We'll see if everything builds first. I guess that's the biggest one. Because I think he just has one test that rips through. Well, no, it goes through all the, yep. Run all. It passed. So that's good. Because it's only going to like type of construction, which if I F12 into that, that should include JustMock, and it does the right thing. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Cool. So I think I'm at the point where I could run the actual, I'm in release mode. I could run BenchmarkMockNet and just see what the results are. So I'm going to pause the recording. I'm going to run BenchmarkMockNet. It probably isn't the most efficient way to do it because I'm actually running Camtasia's recorder right now, but we'll just see what this does. And at least it'll be relative to everything else and just get an idea as to what JustMock does. So I'm going to run all the tests. It's probably going to take like a long time. We'll see what it gives, and then we'll report the results. Okay, well, it didn't finish. I don't know what just happened. It got through the construction tests, but when I got to the callback tests, it got to JustMock, as you can see here. And before actual run, it just hung. It didn't do anything. Now it did get through the construction tests. So if I scroll up to that, I notice that, it did get through that. Ironically, JustMock is the worst. It has the most allocated memory and the slowest amount of time to do what it's doing for construction. So I don't know. I want to go back to your callback and let's put it into my, because we're done with that for now. Let's come back to console ape. And yeah, let's say that when I do, let's do var called is equal to false. Okay, and then we're going to say in the range that do instead called. Yep, accept that. Okay, so now we're going to do something foo. And we're not going to do assert. We're just going to say console.writeLine called. Okay, run that. And it does do true. I mean, it works. So I don't know what just happened here. I don't know why it's dying. And when I ran all the tests, like if I come back here and I go to benchmark tests, there's only one test. That's the data. It just gives you all the data there with a dictionary of type and method info, because that's object. Okay, I'm going to assume it's actually doing the right thing. Hold on, I got a call. My prescription is ready. Okay, so I don't know what to do with this. The result should be true. And that's what it's doing. And we just saw that it is setting it to true and the test succeeds. So I'm not sure if it's like getting tired or, or what. I don't know what's going on in this case. I'm going to give it one more try and just let it run again, pause the video. The other thing I think I could play with is just say in the program here is don't do the callback just yet and see if it can actually get past it. So let me run it again and we'll see where we go. Okay, I'm gonna have to stop the episode here, unfortunately. What I found out, I was actually, when I did this last pause, I started talking to Steve Desmond on Twitter and DMing him and trying to figure out what in the world is going on. So what he recommended is going into here and changing this, what is basically the number of iterations you do. It was 100,000. We just go to 1, 10, 100, and so on, and see if there's like some memory leak or some issue with calling it repeatedly, which is weird because if you come like to this test that was causing a problem, I'm just doing what all the other mocking libraries do, just creating it and then setting one parameter. It's just really, that should not cause this to fall off a cliff, and yet it does. If you look here, and it's not that, like the memory doesn't actually go up per se. You see the allocated memory here, but the time just goes completely bonkers. With 1, you start 78,000, 10, it goes down actually to 7,000 if I'm reading this all right. 100 jumps up to, no, it actually goes down. But then you go to 1,000 and it goes up to 488,000. Well, that's nanoseconds. So it keeps going down, but then you hit 10,000 and oh my God, like this is nano, this is micro, this is milli. So 4 milliseconds, it just for something, and I grabbed the actual before and after actual runs and it just completely tanks. So I'm actually going to commit this to my branch and then I'm going to post something to Telerex, to their repository, to an issue, and just saying, I'm not sure why this is happening, but calling it this much, it shouldn't cause the performance to tank this badly, you know? So, because none of the other ones exhibit this kind of behavior. Again, Steve had it set to 100,000. Where is it over here again? Yeah, to these are 100,000. And I have to crank it down to 10,000 just to get that one to come back like within a minute or two. It's insane. So unfortunately I can't add this just yet because there's no way he could accept a PR on this, and understandably so. But it's been kind of fun to do this. I hope that JustMock finds out what's going on with this, because again, this to me should not happen. This to me should not be an issue. And maybe there's something that I don't quite understand with this, but how would calling this over and over actually be something you shouldn't do? It seems weird. And again, you're not calling it on like the same, at least unless they're doing something internally and caching things. And even though you're calling create here on this, it like keeps the same thing somewhere internally. I don't know, but this is a problem. Hopefully we can come around and solve this, but this has been an adventure in and of itself. I'm recording with Camtasia. I'm adding JustMock, a library I've never used before. I've delved into some things with BenchmarkMockNet that I didn't know. And so actually it's been kind of a fun, productive episode. Just kind of stalled here. So maybe in the next episode, I'll come up with a resolution and see what happens. So thank you all for watching. Leave comments and questions below. See you in the next episode.